Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you to everyone for joining this Zoom event, and thank you to those who are tuning in. I was joking earlier that this is a very busy group of people, and I am grateful to have you all with me today. I think this screen says it all. This is a collaboration of people from the private sector, the public sector, labor unions, training partners, all committing to get the people of Rhode Island back to work, many of whom are devastated because they're out of a job due to the COVID crisis. So thank you, each and every one of you, for your commitment, and to the other training partners who aren't on the call, thank you for committing yourself to this new initiative. The initiative that I'm launching today is called Back to Work Rhode Island, and it is designed to put between 5,000 and 7,000 Rhode Islanders back to work. These are hardworking men and women who find themselves out of a job, and it's on us to work together to make sure that they have a chance to get a new job. That's what the people of Rhode Island want and deserve, just a chance, an opportunity to get the training and skills they need and a decent, dignified, well-paying job. Before we begin, in addition to thanking all of you here and thanking all the hiring partners who aren't on the call, I have to say thank you to Rhode Island's federal delegation, Senators Reid and Whitehouse, Representative Langevin and Cicilline. I'm launching this initiative and funding it with a $45 million investment from Rhode Island's federal COVID stimulus funds, which we would not have but for the hard work and dedication of our federal delegation. So thank you to the four of them. So we know why we're here today. We're here today because in Rhode Island, and frankly around the country, we are facing unprecedented levels of unemployment. At one point in time here in Rhode Island, state of 1 million people, we had over 200,000 unemployment insurance claims. We're still well over 100,000. And even worse, many of the people who are unemployed are at risk of being long-term unemployed. These are folks who face barriers to being hired, and as a result, they're scared because they're not sure if they'll ever work again. Now, some of that is because they don't have a degree or credential past high school. Maybe they are in an industry that's been decimated by COVID. Maybe they face other barriers to getting a good job. But we know that 60% of those in Rhode Island who have filed for unemployment insurance during the crisis only have a high school degree. And we know that in today's economy, if you only have a high school degree, that's a hard place to be to get a decent paying job. A third of them have some college, which means almost certainly they ran out of money and couldn't get through college. So that's what this is about. We're here, public sector, private sector, nonprofit sector, because we believe we have a collective shared responsibility and obligation to lean in to put people back to work. And we know that takes partnership, creativity, a willingness to be different, and frankly, an eye towards equity and rebuilding an economy that's better than it was before. I don't like the phrase the new normal. Let's be better than the old normal. Let's be stronger, more innovative, more inclusive, more unified than we were before we went into this crisis. Now, I will say, in Rhode Island, we're not new, or I'm not new, to working with partners to rebuild an economy. And many of you on this call have been my partners in doing that.
Here we go.
When I started as governor, we had the highest unemployment rate in the country. And so we got to work rebuilding an economy. And just before COVID, our unemployment rate was under 3.5%, the lowest in generation, lower than the national average. A key piece of the puzzle for doing that was job training. Job training, successful job training in partnership with companies and hiring partners. In the last 5 years, we built partnerships with 1,500 businesses and put over 10,000 Rhode Islanders back to work in higher wage jobs by getting them skills in order to get a good job. reality. COVID has made this so much worse. It has exposed and precipitated a lot of the trends that were hurting people started. Too many people have been left out of our economy. People who don't have a degree past high school, even though they're hardworking and smart, formerly incarcerated folks, people in recovery, moms and dads who took time out to take care of their kids, somebody who were stuck in a low-wage job and worried that that job might go away due to automation. A lot of those people are out of work now. And we have tech executives on the call here. Automation and AI, some estimates say, threaten 25% of all US jobs. So put yourself in the position of a middle-aged man or woman who's out of work right now, who only has a high school degree, who's been working for the last 25 years in a retail store as a clerk, and you're out of work. That's a scary place to be. And so what we're saying to that person right now is, we're going to get you back to work. We are committed to getting you back to work. 2/3 of those in Rhode Island who filed for unemployment were in jobs that paid less than $20 an hour. They didn't have an advanced degree, and they came from 3 industries: food, accommodation, and retail. So what are we saying today? How are we going to get folks back to work? We're saying we are going to have an unprecedented, I believe, first of its kind partnership, public-private partnership, that actually gets 5,000 to 7,000 people back to work. And that's going to require us to be different. And I mean myself included, all of us. It's going to require our training our hiring partners to hire differently. For you folks on the phone, and we have more than a dozen hiring partners, everyone in the Back to Work initiative has signed a pledge that you pledge to hire differently. You're not just hiring based upon a degree. You're hiring based upon competency, credentials. You're willing to say, we will hire you, even though you can't check the box, college degree, 5 years of professional 5 years of experience, but you have a credential, you've gone through the Back to Work training programs, and we're willing to hire you. And it requires us to be tailored in the way we do this training, which means this will only work if we are very closely aligned with our hiring partners to figure out exactly how we can do the training to meet your needs. It also requires us to support people. So the number one reason we've learned why people drop out of our existing training programs, lack of transportation. It's amazing. The second one is lack of childcare. Life gets in the way. So many of these people, I've met them, they go through our training programs. They are smart and talented and hardworking. They desperately want to get a job. Their car breaks down. They can't get to the training reliably. So in addition to the fact that we are providing tailored job training, and education, we're also providing wraparound services, job coaching, transportation, childcare, financial literacy coaching. This is what I mean by a real commitment. So that when we serve folks up to you, the hiring partners, you have confidence knowing these are people who have shown up every day on time for their training, they've had job coaching, they have soft skills, and they have the skills and credentials that you need in order to fulfill your hiring and training needs. I also, in addition to the hiring partners that we have on the call, I want to call out a few of our support providers. We have John Hope Bryant and Zoe Baird on the call. They're both national leaders in economic empowerment. I want to thank you both. They'll be helping us with job coaching and financial literacy coaching. You're both fantastic and deeply committed to this work. I also want to call out Nina Pandy of Skills for Rhode Island's Future. Nina is incredible, and she's been our secret sauce for connecting Rhode Islanders with job opportunities to get them back to work. So thank you, Nina. I will say that through skills and our community partners here in Rhode Island, the Year Up Black Business Association, the Genesis Center, Dorcas International, Latino Policy Institute, and so many others, we're going to ensure that this program supports those who've been hit hardest in the COVID crisis, including communities of color and individuals of color, just as we have done with all aspects of our COVID response. The fact is, this crisis has hit certain groups harder than others, and we are committed to equity in this initiative and everything that we do. So listen, I'm excited. I think I've called every single one of you and asked you to participate in this. This is a big deal. This isn't just job training. This isn't train and pray. We're not going to train and pray you hire folks. You have committed ahead of time to hire. You have committed ahead of time to give people a chance. And I am committed to you to make sure that we will tailor these training initiatives so that when you hire someone, you have confidence that they're going to be able to do the job. And together, a year from now, we're going to look back and we're going to say together, we stood Rhode Island's economy back up with an equity lens, stronger than it was before. And I hope it's a model for other places to follow. Because the fact of the matter is, a lot of these jobs aren't coming back. Yet every one of these people deserves a shot at a good job. So I'm so grateful that you've agreed to participate in this, even though you're busy. And I want to hand it over to Mike Gray, who is the chair of the Governor's Workforce Board, to say a few words.
Thank you, Governor. I appreciate the being asked to participate in the call today for this really exciting program. I'm thrilled to be here today because as the chair of the Governor's Workforce Board, I'm really supportive of Back to Work Rhode Island and its commitments to promoting equity all over our state and in the state's workforce. At this moment in our state and country's history, we are faced with some once-in-a-lifetime sort of challenges. Historic pandemic, an awakening in the social justice movement, and an economy that has quite honestly been impacted by both. We need to find solutions to these challenges that will solve more than just one problem at a time. Back to Work Rhode Island will not only help Rhode Islanders get good jobs, but will also ensure Rhode Island businesses have the diverse pool of talent they need to compete and grow in the aftermath of COVID-19. Some of the Rhode Islanders hardest hit by COVID-19 were already among the state's most vulnerable, particularly women and people of color. By focusing on serving these populations, Back to Work RI will support those who need it most and strengthen our state's economy as a whole. Back to Work RI will expand access to opportunities, making sure that all Rhode Islanders, regardless of zip code or background, have a shot at getting a really good job. This initiative will build our economy in ways that works for everyone. While past efforts have too often neglected the importance of supportive services like childcare, transportation, addressing these barriers to employment will open the door to opportunity. The successes of Back to Work RI will also build trust with all our communities by demonstrating that access to good careers is available to all Rhode Islanders, talented workers, and will also prove that those successes are repeatable. I'm thrilled to support it today, and we're going to move into a session where we're going to talk to a few people and hear their perspective. We're going to start with Mary Kay Henry of the Service Employees International. She's the international president of SEIU. So Mary Kay, I invite you to take the podium.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be in this civic society partnership with the Governor of Rhode Island. It is wonderful, Governor, that you're bringing together labor, the private sector, and the public sector to put our heads, hearts, and minds to addressing the shock to the system that all of us were talking about before this conference began. I really appreciate how you see care work, home care work, child care work, the care work being done in nursing homes and hospitals as central to the economic recovery of Rhode Islanders. And I believe that this initiative is going to break new ground and be a model that we can use in states across the nation for the fastest growing jobs in the US economy that have never been valued or invested in. And the initiative that you're launching today makes possible for us to take these jobs and get access to training and upgrading and better wages that will allow the primarily Black and brown women that do these jobs to not just care for the people that they serve, but also to provide for themselves and their families. And I'm grateful that you've recognized both SEIU and the Laborers International Union and our training capacity as a key partner in helping get people ready for jobs. And I'm thrilled that you will directly be partnering with 1199 New England in placing 150 new direct care jobs. And I think I wanted to just tell a story of Sylvania Silvestri, who was a certified nursing assistant. She used the training and upgrading fund previously to become a registered nurse in a nursing home in Rhode Island. She herself was exposed to COVID-19 in mid-April. Her husband contracted the virus. She was self-quarantining. Her husband lost his job. He's now back to work. But her story is the story of many Rhode Islanders that this back to work initiative is going to address once and for all. And we're incredibly grateful to my brother Armand Sabatoni, who's the General Secretary and Secretary Treasurer of the Laborers International Union of North America. Our unions are incredibly excited about this initiative. Public money should be going to create good family sustaining jobs with high standards and high wages. And we are proud to be a partner in the Back to Work initiative in Rhode Island. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. I want to thank both you and Armand. You've been terrific partners to me all along in our existing job training programs. And in this one, as I said, this is supercharged and even more successful. It'll be a combination of apprenticeships, which I know Armand is very familiar with, and a lot of the job training. 60% of the folks who are unemployed in Rhode Island now are women, and that's who many of your members are, and they deserve a job, and frankly, they deserve a career ladder. Work harder, more skills, more money. So thank you.
Thank you.
Great. And before we move on to the next speaker we're going to hear from, we do want to make sure that we recognize Armand Sabatoni for being here and supporting Mary Kay and her comments and being a great partner in this initiative. Thank you. So we'll take the opportunity to move on to John Hope Bryant, who is the chairman and CEO of Operation Hope. He's here to support the initiative today. John, take it away.
Hello, everybody. Mary Kay, God bless your work. Mike, thanks for your leadership. All of the leaders from the government, the community, and the private sector here. And I'm reminded, by the way, that it was the government's vision, some government leaders who did the right thing, but it was a private sector in the civil rights movement that integrated the lunch counters. Very little known fact. It was a private sector that made the way for the South to turn the corner. That was Dr. King and my mentor, Ambassador Andrew Young, the last living lieutenant for Dr. King, who supports this initiative, by the way, who would go in behind closed doors after the protests were done and talk to business leaders. And it was the business leaders that took the whites only signs down and then told the government to knock it off. You don't have to tell this governor to knock it off. She's the one who's turning the lights on. She's the one who is leading the way. And history doesn't feel historic when you're sitting in it. It just feels like another day. But that doesn't mean that the work that you're doing right now is not in fact historic. And I think that this is a model for not only the state of Rhode Island, where you have half of people, give or take, who have a high school education. A lot of the stunning statistics that the governor has outlined is really the challenge for this country. Half of this country are high school educated. That you cannot be the sole superpower in the world and be comfortable with half of your people with a high school education. We've got to want more. We got to lean in more. We got to expect more. We got to do more. And we can't just sit in the pain because rainbows only follow storms. So the governor has already turned the corner on COVID-19. She's already looking around the corner for what comes next. And as they say in my neighborhood where I grew up in Compton, California, the best way to stop a bullet is a job. We have a global health pandemic. We have a national economic crisis, and we have a 400-year social justice reckoning, all happening at the same time. And what we need right now is leadership, clear-eyed leadership. And I've already gotten a call from the Department of Commerce, Governor, saying that what you're doing here with Back to Work Rhode Island is something they want to see modeled in neighboring states. And they've already committed funds, if you want to take them, to do a model that goes and expands this work to elsewhere. I've already told your trusted chief of staff about this. So I'm honored to be with you because the folks who I represent, who've got too much month at the end of their money, who was in a crisis before this crisis hit, need not only these jobs, they need this hope. That's really what you're providing with this coalition. The folks are arguing and picking sides. You're bringing people together. And to be very specific about what's going on here, if I had to redesign the CARE Act, this is the way I would design it in 2 points. One, employment and unemployment. Don't just give somebody a check and tell them to sit at home. You give them a check as a bridge, compassion, then a bridge to the future, then some retraining for jobs for the future, properly socially distanced and trained in that COVID environment. Then give them some financial coaching, financial resiliency, because it's not just putting people to work and making them have a check or make some money, but you want to make the money work for them, not just have them work for their money. And then you want, on top of that, to reset, you want hiring, which is a critical piece you put in this. 5,000 jobs to start with, I believe. And I want to thank all the companies who've leaned in here, Salesforce, Bank of America, CVS, and others, to put folks back to work with a real job. And then you want to reset. And I'm honored to lean in here with our financial coaching model, but the thing we're going to do for the residents, for the formerly unemployed, the formerly employed, now unemployed, soon to be reemployed, is the same thing in many ways that a new CARE Act would do or should do for the small business community. And I'm proud to say we're going to be working with the state on the small business piece as well. I don't know if you know it. I know the Black population there is rather small, but important. But 96% of all Black-owned businesses in America have no employees. Now think about that, because PPP was designed for primarily the assistance of those who have employees. So it's the right desire, right intention, but you combine that with the fact they've got no back office, no business management, no accountant, no banker, and the bank teller doesn't count in this example. And they're experts in busyness, maybe not business. And so you can't even get the application together, even if you did qualify, and by the time you do, the money's gone. So she's wrapping financial coaching around the small business community in Rhode Island. Brilliant. Around the entrepreneurs in Rhode Island. Brilliant. This financial coaching piece, think about it now. We're the largest economy in the world, but no one's teaching us financial literacy. Those who need a private bank, who have a private banker like me and others, we don't need it. We use our phones. But those who actually need a private banker can't get one, which is the average American, the Rhode Islanders who are going to get these services. So I just want to commend you and thank you, Governor, for your leadership here and your vision and for doing something and not just.
Thank you. You're a great partner. We're excited to have you, and thank you for working with us.
Thank you, John. Appreciate your words. We're gonna shift on to Zoe Baird, who's gonna speak with us. Zoe is from the Marco Foundation, the president of the Marco Foundation, and we're thrilled to have her join us today. Zoe, are you out there?
Yes, I am. Thank you. First of all, I want to congratulate Governor Raimondo on this bold initiative to get Rhode Islanders back to work with better career opportunities. You are a leader in workforce, and your passion and compassion for the people in the state that need a collaborative like this in order to find hope is unmatched by any public official. And I thank you for all you're doing. We have to recognize that this crisis is going to mark an historic transition from the industrial to the digital economy. As was just said, when you're in a moment in history, you may not recognize it, but I think we will look back and realize that the trend that was developing has hit its mark, and we are now fully in the digital economy. And the good jobs ahead are going to require more training and education. Even before COVID, 8 and 10 million middle skill jobs required at least basic digital literacy. And the fastest rate of digitalization were in jobs that might surprise you. They were jobs in retail, warehouses, and healthcare roles like medical assistants and personal care aides. So many people with modest post-secondary education, those people with just a high school degree that the governor referred to, can gain the skills needed to succeed in these jobs if we create the opportunity to do that without extensive years of training or expensive training. At Markle, we've been motivated by a deep belief that our labor market doesn't adequately recognize the talents people have unless they have a college degree, which means that economic equity gets further and further away for too many people, and particularly for people of color. The current crisis has created staggering inequality. You heard the Rhode Island numbers. Nationally, unemployment for workers with only a high school education is almost double the rate for workers with a bachelor's degree. So the nation needs programs like the one the governor's announcing today in order to get people rapid and affordable training, fast and affordable, for good jobs. Often they're jobs that have been digitized and require skills that people have not gotten in prior jobs. And along with that, we need valuable coaching to know what training to take and what opportunities to pursue. Rhode Island's been a founding member of Markle's Skillful State Network of 29 governors and the mayor of the District of Columbia. Markle's Skillful initiative is going to help Rhode Island support businesses in changing over to skills-based practices that honor workers' talents, regardless of their degrees, and enhance business commitment to their own training of their employees. In Colorado and Indiana, Markle has been working with employers to assess and articulate their talent needs in terms of the skills required to do the job. And then we help employers shift how they recruit and hire, how they upskill workers, and how they prepare workers for a true career path, whether it's with that company or as they advance in other sectors. So we'll be sharing what we've learned with Rhode Island organizations that support local employers. We're also going to support Rhode Island in a program to train coaches. Markle created the Skillful Governor's Coaching Corps, a professional development program for career coaches that provides a foundational set of skills, training, tools, and resources for coaches across the workforce system, community colleges, community organizations, so coaches can understand what the jobs are that are going to be good jobs in the future, how someone gets from a job they've had into one of those jobs the fastest way, and how to get the training that people need. You know, most people don't even think about it, but you have coaches for so much of what you do, whether it's your kids' coaches in sports or your coaches for personal training, your coach to learn a language. We need coaches to help people make that shift from one job to another into a good job that requires some skills, and that job will pay more and will have a better future. So we'll be sharing the lessons we've learned with Rhode Island organizations to help them launch a training program for Rhode Island coaches. Across the country, we need to create many more good jobs. And a lot of the people on this call are people who have the opportunity to do that. And I hope that their public spiritedness, which I know is deep and sincere, will lead the people on this call to be thinking about how to create more good jobs so that people can come back stronger. But for many of the people most impacted by this recession, access to rapid and affordable training is the linchpin. And so what the governor's doing for Rhode Islanders is essential, needs to be modeled around the country. At Markle, we're going to be launching a major national alliance soon so that states across the country have the collaboration that's needed between business, labor, educators, and nonprofits to invest in empowering workers to succeed. And a leader in that effort and all else is Governor Raimondo. So I thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you, Zoe. We are very excited for the job coaching. We have learned through experience in job training, it isn't enough to provide people with just the technical skills. And we've heard from employers, you know, some of the soft skills, essential skills, communication skills, resume building, job coaching. So we're thrilled to have you as a partner in this.
Thank you, Zoe. Some of the words I picked up from your talk there was about being public spirited, and I think, you know, the initiatives that you just talked about will help us to kind of move in that direction, be more in line with the public and help us to move things along faster. So thank you for your input. Thank you for your support. We're going to move on now to introduce Brad Smith. Brad is the president of Microsoft, a name we all know. And he's joining us today to share some of his thoughts and insights about what's happening in Rhode Island. Take it away, Brad.
Oh, great. Well, thanks, Mike. Thanks, Governor. And hello, everybody. It's great to be with you. You know, we're really here spending a little bit of time virtually in Rhode Island this afternoon for a number of reasons. You know, the first is I think we just have a very clear problem that we need to act with urgency to help solve. And Governor, you captured a lot of that. Across the country, obviously, we're not only seeing a spike in unemployment, but we're seeing its disparate impact. We're seeing unemployment rise faster for women than for men. It's rising faster for people of color than for the white citizens of our country. And if we don't act quickly, this is going to exacerbate every divide that we worry about across the country. But really the reason that we're here, I think, is in no small measure because of a number of things that are very distinctive about Rhode Island. First, the track record. I really think that if you look across the country, no state has done more than Rhode Island over the past 5 years to really innovate and advance education and skilling. And we've been privileged to be a supporter of this. We've seen computer science spread across the state's high schools. We've seen a 20-fold increase in college credits. We've seen innovation in workforce training and the like. And so that gives us as a company real confidence to put our resources behind an initiative like this. But then second, I think this is all about the formula, because I do think that this is precisely the right kind of formula that not just Rhode Island, but the whole nation needs. For us, in part, it involves digital technology. I think there's a reason that you see great tech companies like Salesforce and Infosys and those of us from Microsoft participate. In part, as Zoe was capturing, the jobs of the future are more digital. They require more digital skills. But it's more than that. I think that we can use digital technology to help people acquire digital skills. Just a few weeks ago, we launched a global initiative to bring digital skills to 25 million people worldwide by the end of the year. Today, we really get to help bring that to life in Rhode Island. It's about digital content through things like LinkedIn and LinkedIn Learning and Microsoft Learn. It's around online certifications that we know will help people get back to work and find new jobs. It's about using digital technology even to help prepare people. One of my favorites is a service on LinkedIn where people can practice and then get some feedback based on AI because they're going to be doing more interviewing online these days. So all of these things fit together. I will say, as important as I think digital technology can be, it is the partnerships that will matter even more. And that's what you see here today. For us at Microsoft, I'll say an awful lot of what we've learned about what it takes to really deliver successful skilling, we've learned by working with the Markle Foundation and Zoe Baird and its Skillful initiative. You know, the opportunity that we have now to partner with Skills for Rhode Island's future is also a part of what has gotten us very enthused. because we just see this as the kind of partnership with a great nonprofit that can connect people who are underemployed or unemployed with not just skills, but a path to jobs. And then there's one final reason that I'm excited to be here. I think we're going to benefit as a company as well. We have 1,300 jobs across the region. We'll be growing. We are always hiring more people, and we need great talent. And we know that great talent comes from all kinds of places. And Governor Raimondo, I think you put it well. We can innovate in the way we hire, the way we recruit, and this is going to give us the opportunity not just to meet people we might not have ever met before, but to get better and more innovative in our hiring along the way. So when you put all of this together, I think what this really stands for as much as anything else is this. We get to not only rebuild from the past, but reimagine the future. And I think what is now going to lead the way in Rhode Island is going to help us get better across the country. So thank you, Governor, for giving us the opportunity to be part of it.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. You know, I would like to point out that Microsoft doesn't have a physical office in Rhode Island. And one of the things that we've learned during COVID is folks can effectively work from home or have a hybrid. And obviously you have an operation in Boston, which is very close and very commutable. So thank you for agreeing to participate. Microsoft is no stranger to working with Rhode Island. Our CS4RI initiative is hugely successful. And you were one of the very first companies to step up during COVID. Gave us, I think, 1,000 laptops and free software for our businesses. So thank you and thanks. This is going to be terrific.
Great. Thank you, Brad. I did notice a couple of things you said about spending. We're thrilled to have you spend virtual time in our state. So you're welcome anytime. And you can virtually enjoy our beaches as well. All you have to do is put it on the background behind you and everyone will think you're with us. So thank you for joining and for the words that you just shared. We're going to turn to Bill Hatfield now. And Bill is the market president of Bank of America here in Rhode Island and someone who I see around regularly. Bill, are you out there with us?
I am. Can you hear me, Mike?
I can. Take it away.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Governor Raimondo, and thank you especially for the leadership you've shown during this unprecedented health crisis. Your focus on giving workers the skills they need to succeed in this challenging environment is particularly welcome. As Rhode Island market president for Bank of America, I couldn't be more excited to join with other executives and community leaders in getting Rhode Islanders back to work and making Rhode Island a model for workforce development. At Bank of America, we're committed to being the best place to work. And that's one of the reasons I'm so proud that we're bringing 250 family-sustaining jobs. Throughout this health and humanitarian crisis, that commitment is clear through the actions we've taken as a company, whether it's our commitment that our company not conduct layoffs or in 2020 as a result of the coronavirus impacts, which we made early on in the crisis, or the special compensation incentives, alternative forms of transportation, or the meals we're providing to our essential workers who are coming into their offices and our financial centers in order to support our clients. The enhanced backup childcare and adult daycare services we're providing, or no-cost coronavirus testing and related office visit charges as part of our comprehensive benefits and resources. These are just a few examples of how we're supporting our teammates during this unprecedented time. Of course, we're just as committed to taking care of our clients and communities. That's why we quickly signed on with Governor Raimondo when she asked us to take the Rhode Island Financial Pledge, because in fact, we were already providing relief to individuals and small businesses we serve through our client assistance program. This program provides forbearance options for clients impacted by the coronavirus, including nearly 8,000 payment deferrals we've made here in Rhode Island alone. This is in addition to all we're doing to keep our clients and employees safe as our financial center is open for business. The $170 million in funding we've provided small business owners through the Paycheck Protection Program and the continuous outreach we're making to our clients to meet their needs during these trying times. In support of the Rhode Island community, we've already deployed more than $1 million to nonprofits that are working to serve our most vulnerable populations, from basic needs that are being met by organizations like Amos House and the Martin Luther King Community Center, to workforce development solutions with the Boys and Girls Club in Year Up, which are a great complement to the Back to Work Rhode Island initiative. Bank of America is also proud to work with Skills for Rhode Island's Future, a 2019 Bank of America neighborhood builder and a demand-driven partner which has helped build a vibrant business community in the state by providing local industry and employers with the talent they need to be economically successful through innovative workforce solutions. We're also partnering with the Community College of Rhode Island, helping them to design, pilot, and scale programming that will equip Rhode Islanders to obtain and remain in high-demand, high-paying jobs. Under the governor's leadership and with funding from the Department of Labor and Training, CCRI has dedicated time, talent, and funding to build programs that include business and digital essentials, data literacy, and other workforce training that will help forge a better future for all Rhode Island residents and businesses. Long term, it's going to take all of us working together across the private and public sector to make sure we're prepared for the future. We face a much tougher set of challenges than we have in the past, and overcoming those challenges doesn't just happen. It happens by virtue of good decisions made by good people who care about Rhode Island. We've got a lot of work to do, but we also have the opportunity of a lifetime because the challenges mean we can do something. We can eliminate traditional barriers to hiring and give workers the skills they need to succeed, all of which make for a brighter future for our kids and grandkids. We are excited to be part of this effort to grow our economy, to add good jobs, raise incomes, and make Rhode Island a center of workforce vitality and innovation. Thank you, Governor, for allowing us to do even more to support and to serve. Mike.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. And thank you to Brian. I spoke with Brian last week, and
Yes.
you and the company are all in. Bill mentioned that Bank of America is committed to hiring 250 people. I think others have mentioned their commitments. I should say that our goal here is 5,000 to 7,000 people back to work. I always like to think we'll exceed every goal. We're starting out today with commitments from our hiring partners for just over 3,000 jobs. So again, this isn't train and pray. This is we're training and you're hiring. And it is my goal to get Rhode Island to be the first state in the country back to pre-COVID employment, and doing it through these partnerships where everybody is all in. So thank you, Bill, and thank you to the B of A team.
You bet.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate the commitment of Bank of America, a longtime support for citizens in the state. We appreciate what you're doing and what you do. Before we move on to the next person, I'll just say, just being respectful of everybody's time and knowing this is a Facebook Live, and we could probably go all night, but we do want to try to make sure that folks who have commitments can make them. So for the remainder of our speakers, to try to make sure your comments obviously are welcome and wanted, but in respect of the length of this call. So with that, we're going to ask Gregory Hayes from Raytheon, the Chief Executive Officer of Raytheon, to join us and say a few words.
Thank you, Mike, and I will be brief. Let me just first of all thank the governor again for this innovative solution to what is a chronic problem. I'd also point out, though, that this is not a one-time problem. As we think about, as the governor said, automation and AI will change the workforce in the future. And I think what we're doing today is just the start of what we need to continue to do over the future. You know, Raytheon Technologies, we've got 200,000 people. Our job is to innovate to solve customer problems. But I always tell our folks, companies don't innovate, people do. And it's leadership like the governor has on this particular initiative that shows just what you can accomplish when you open your mind up to innovate. You know, at Raytheon Technologies, we don't ever guarantee a lifetime employment. That's absolutely impossible in this world. What we encourage our folks to do, though, is to be lifelong learners. that is to reskill themselves throughout their career. We provided over 38,000 opportunities for 38,000 of our folks to get college degrees or certificates in the last 20 years. We've invested over $1.5 billion. I know this is just a start here, what we're doing in Rhode Island, something we need to push around the entire country. But I just want to again say thank you to the governor, and on behalf of the 200,000 people at Raytheon, we're behind you. So thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. Raytheon has over 1,000 employees already in Rhode Island, and we're excited for your growth now with the merged companies. Greg and I have had many discussions around, you're hiring. You need hiring. You need folks who have the technical skill. It's not necessary that they have a college degree, but it's necessary that they have the technical skill. And these are good jobs. So I can't thank you enough for being on the call and for your partnership and commitment. And we'll fight for you. We will train the folks, to all of you. You have my commitment. Folks will be trained and ready to work on day one.
Thank you, Greg. I will say that Raytheon is a company I think that it's a great model for the kinds of things that we have been trying to do at the Governor's Workforce Board and in the state. It is you live in a constantly shifting environment, as many of us on the call do, and you're always refreshing and renewing and recognizing how to reinvest. So I think, isn't that the story that we all are talking about, and this is the things that we need to accomplish. So thank you for joining us today. We're going to move to Kevin Graney from General Dynamics Electric Boat, the president of that organization. And we hope that, Mr. Graney, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, super. Just wanted to make sure before I committed you to speak. So take it away.
Thanks for allowing me to participate in today's forum. And Governor Raimondo, thanks for your leadership and your focus on workforce development and training. This is something that is very near and dear to my heart, and something that I am concerned about every day here at EB. I've known for a long time and fully now appreciate in my new role here just how important Electric Boat is to Rhode Island's economy. And so we're excited to be a partner in this important program as we work to get Rhode Islanders back to work. We're fortunate. We're growing roughly double from where we are today over the course of the next 10 years. And we're already climbing a growth curve we haven't seen in about 2 generations of shipbuilders here at EB. So we're investing more than about $1 billion in our Rhode Island facilities today. And now we need the people that will add the talent to this important work. The governor's training programs have been a success in placing Rhode Islanders in well-paying jobs with not just jobs, but a clear path for career progression at Electric Boat. And those careers make for stronger families and stronger communities, something that we can all be proud of and get on board with. So more than 1,300 Rhode Islanders so far have been trained for careers at EB through our partnerships with CCRI, New England Tech, and the Office of Post-Secondary Commission. And that's really just the beginning. In the near term, we plan to hire 400 tradespeople at Quonset Point in the coming year. And I think we're going to be, over the course of the next 3 years, about 2,000 more people added to the roles at Quonset Point. So we look forward to working with the governor's office to fill these important positions with qualified Rhode Islanders. And I appreciate, again, the time this afternoon to speak with you. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. You guys have been terrific. As Kevin said, over 1,000 folks we have trained. We have a great relationship with our community college, and we will continue to deliver. I would like to make a point that this is a special program because you have competitors right here on this Zoom call. You have Salesforce and Microsoft sitting right next to each other, and Raytheon and EB sitting right next to each other. So we must be onto something very special if we can get all of you to commit. And I think it says a lot about you as leaders that you're saying it's bigger than you, it's bigger than just your companies. It's about rebuilding our economy in the right way and giving folks a chance for a good job. And so thank you to all of you, and thanks, Kevin.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to hear from an old friend of mine from serving on a couple of boards together, Lisa Bisaccia from CVS Health. She's the Executive Vice President and Chief Human Resource Officer for CVS Health. You out there?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm here, and it's great to see you again as well. I'm happy to be with all of you, and especially to be part of another initiative that is for the benefit of Rhode Island. We're really happy to be part of that, especially around Rhode Island residents coming back to work. We think as part of this very innovative public-private partnership, we can set an example to create opportunities that grow and sustain the skilled workforce. So we've had a long track record at CVS here in Rhode Island and throughout the country of establishing meaningful workforce partnerships. So that's through Rhode Island DLT, Skills for Rhode Island Future, CCRI Year Up, and soon a learning center in Northern Rhode Island, which we're very excited about. All of these is around growing and developing our first generation workforce with a focus on getting people who are unemployed back to work. So this Back to Work Rhode Island initiative represents another significant investment in economic development, job training, technology-based infrastructure, and education, and we're very pleased to support it. We know that having a highly skilled and technology-enabled workforce is even more critical today, particularly since the virus has challenged old workplace assumptions and is changing the paradigm of where and how we work. Like many of you on this call, we've had to rethink many of our business assumptions, including who's truly able to work from home. And in that sense, when we think about our call centers, our shared services, and corporate staff, basically everybody who's not on the front line of our retail stores and our clinical healthcare facilities has had to learn about work from home. So this gives us an opportunity to bring in new kinds of colleagues, new kinds of employees who might otherwise not been able to join us. So as part of the Back to Work Rhode Island initiative, we anticipate hiring at least 250 Rhode Island residents over the next 12 months into roles based in this state that will lead to sustainable careers. So these will provide opportunities for career growth and satisfying professional development, and it will place local residents in positions that will serve our customers and clients, not just here in Rhode Island, but across the country. It will also enable them to investigate and advance to other career paths within our very broad-based company. We believe Rhode Island is a state undergoing change and on the move. We're proud to have our corporate headquarters here. Under Governor Raimondo's leadership, programs like Back to Work Rhode Island demonstrate the continued investment our state is making to help Rhode Island's economy and workforce continuously grow and thrive in today's dynamic environment, serves as a model for other parts of the country to employ, and we are very proud to be part of it.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you to Larry, and thank you for such a big commitment. And thank you for all you've done. Rhode Island right now has tested more people per capita than any state in the country, and that is in large part because of our partnership with CVS. So thank you, and let's get to work. I'm excited.
Got it.
Thank you, Lisa. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So we're going to move to Mark Benioff, who is the CEO of Salesforce. Mark, are you with us?
Yes, I am with you, Mike. Thank you so much for doing such a great job hosting this call. I'm very grateful for you, but I'm especially grateful for our wonderful governor. And I want to give her the gratitude that she so rightly deserves, because I'll tell you, she has been a tremendous visionary during one of the most horrible crises I've ever been through. You know, these have been such challenging times for all of us. As it was mentioned, it's a pandemic, it's an economic crisis, it's a racial injustice crisis, it's a global leadership crisis. And I know for everyone on this call, I've never worked harder myself in the last 6 months. I mean, this has been crazy. But what I think is so powerful is this call is evidence of something so important, which is that business is the greatest platform for change. That business has the tremendous technology and the relationships and the financial resources and the key stakeholders who are on this call and connected to them, who can bring forward this improved state of the world that we all seek. But business must also support all of those stakeholders, as well as all of their shareholders. It's actually quite complex running a business today, as many of the CEOs on this call will mention to you. And we are entering a new world, an all digital, work anywhere, live anywhere, educate anywhere environment. And we all realize the past does not equal the future. We all know that already. The old world is not coming back. We are in the new world. And we are trying to make this world as successful as we can and for everyone, because we realize we have to create a new world. So what do we really want? This is the question we have to ask. What do we really want in our new world? Do we want a world of more equality? Do we want a world of more sustainability, with more trust, with more truth? What kind of world do we want? That's why tech leaders are going tomorrow to Washington, D.C., because they're being called on. Are they creating the world that we want, or are they creating the world that we do not want? And Salesforce indeed is committed to creating 3 million new jobs by 2023 and $1 trillion of revenues from those individuals through our entire Salesforce economy. But this has to be an economy that is inclusive, an inclusive economy of all genders, all races, all sexual orientations, everyone. And when you think about the past, we realize, we have transgressions. We can now have the opportunity to let go if we can move forward in a positive way. And that's why over the next 5 years, we'll invest a total of $200 million and 1 million volunteer hours globally, and organizations working to advance racial equality and justice at our global, national, local level. Half of these funds are going to support public education, close the achievement gap for Black and underrepresented minority students, something so critical right now in our country. And we'll also spend $100 million with Black-owned businesses over the next 3 years and commit to 25% year-over-year growth and spending with minority-owned businesses, because we have to advance our supplier onboarding processes and mitigate any bias and provide better payment terms for Black-owned and minority-owned businesses where appropriate. I also heard on this call somewhere, a call out to Year Up, great org, one that I've been working with for almost 20 years. So many good Year Up stories in my mind. So many great interns I've met. We've already had 104 or 500, I don't know, interns. We've retained 50% of those as full-time employees. Amazing. Taking incredible kids and turning them into great employees. That's what it's all about. That's why I love my job. And we're so deeply committed to Year Up and those internships, even as we now have to make them virtual. So that's a critical bridge we have to cross. This also reminds me of, Governor Raimondo, also gave us a tremendous vision for work.com, a brand new product we've now built with dozens of other companies to help business get back to work safely, to do contact tracing and work, shift scheduling and workforce triage and command centers. And now almost every state in the country runs on work.com and thousands of businesses all over the world. And it's all because of Governor Raimondo's vision. So thank you, Governor Raimondo, for your vision for work.com and getting business back to work safely. And let me also say one thing while we're talking about interns. Our minds also must be on schools and distant learning. If our kids right now are not at the top of our mind right now, we don't realize we're about to go through one of the biggest challenges to our education system since its inception. We need to innovate and invest and make our education transition a success for our kids. This is going to be tough sledding for all of us, and we all have to jump in and get involved. And you can expect us, Governor Raimondo, to be a good partner as you work to get your schools back online in the coming weeks as we move into back to school season. So look, we're in an unprecedented time. We all have so much we have to do. We've already done so much just in the last 6 months. It's unbelievable. But let me just say one last thing about masks. 67% of all Americans now wear masks every day. That's up 13% since May. We're trying to depoliticize masks. We all know that. And if we make it now from 67%, just another 13 points to 80%, well, virus will be fully extinguished in less than a month. If 80% of a population is protected and 4 out of every 5 people wear those masks, it won't spread further. So we can do this. So let's wear our masks. Let's use our contact tracing. Let's continue to evolve in testing. But let's remember that as we rebuild our economy, let's rebuild it for everyone, every race, every gender, every sexual orientation. Let's have a really great inclusive equality. Let's create the world we want. And remember, the past does not equal the future, and we can build stronger, better. And with your vision and dreams, Governor Raimondo, I know that we're going to end up in a much better place. Thank you for hosting the call. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I love your energy. I love your commitment. Thank you for your commitment to Rhode Island. You're thousands of miles away, but yet every time I call you for help, you are right there, and I appreciate it. I'm excited for the future. It's a lot of work. I also have never worked this hard in my life, and we're not at the other end yet. But I know there are many Rhode Islanders of all walks of life who are hardworking, smart, talented, and capable. And your commitment, all of your commitment to this initiative is going to make sure that they get what they deserve, which is a good job with dignity and a chance at getting that, even though maybe in their past, they've had some struggles and some barriers. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark. At the top of the call, I mentioned a couple of things that if we don't say them out, we are every opportunity we get, we are missing an opportunity. You just called out a few things on just saying the challenges we have in front of us. One of the big ones that we are talking about on this call is around equity and certainly around the social justice part. And when we have the opportunity to talk about it, the more comfortable we are about all of the challenges that we have. So I just want to thank you for calling that out, because it is something very important that we around our state and around our country need to have more comfort and dialogue. So thank you for that.
Mike, I'll tell you, there's opportunities and moments in time when we have the ability to move progress forward. And this is one of those times when we can move progress forward, but we all have to commit to do it. It has to be all of our narrative. It has to be all of our financial commitment and all of our resources. And business is this great platform for change with all these embedded capabilities. We have no choice, but at this moment in time, to support our community. And as we build our economy, let's build an inclusive economy. Let's bring everyone in. Let's pay men and women equally. Let's make sure we have the right levels of diversity and inclusion. Let's make sure when we're buying products that we're buying them from all vendors, and that we don't have some subconscious bias somewhere. This is a moment where we have to look at the police as well. Let's get real. We didn't mention that. We have to look at the police and what's going on right now, that there's an opportunity. You know, this is a moment when that has to be a real issue that has to be addressed. So you look, that's why I'm such a huge fan of the governor. This is not an easy time to be a public official. We all know that. Okay.
Was there an easy time? I'm curious. Has there ever been an easy time?
Well, this is not what. This is not easy. But that's why we're supporting you. We're there for you, because we realize you're focused on the things that are important to us, which is a world that has more equality, an equality, you know, for every human being and every life, and a world that's more sustainable. We can all see we need more sustainability and better environment, and a world with more trust and truth. This is what we need, and that's why, Governor Raimondo, we're so excited, all of us on this group, on this call, to be with you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much, Mark. Next, we're going to talk to Ravi Kumar from Infosys, the president and deputy COO, who's joining us today to talk about Infosys and their commitment to Back to Work Rhode Island. Take it away.
Thank you, Mike, for this opportunity. Thank you, Governor Raimondo and your team. In fact, Mike, you should add one more big fan to the Governor Raimondo Club. It's me. I've been such a big fan of the governor. I've been attending Saturday calls for the last few months, and I have to say that there isn't any other governor who's bringing innovation, technology, science, public-private partnerships together to combat this virus. All a confluence of all this together is what makes Rhode Island such a unique place. We've been in this state since 2018. We committed 500 jobs, design jobs, with a partnership with the Rhode Island School of Design, hiring from schools and colleges, and then running a training, finishing school training, and then bringing them to tech and digital jobs of the future. We partnered with the government to work on the Crush COVID RI app, a contact tracing app built on Salesforce. We're very, very delighted to be a partner of that endeavor. And now we are adding additional jobs in tech and digital in the state of Rhode Island. And we do believe, and Mark has mentioned this in his remarks, that this is our opportunity to reset ourselves to the jobs of the future and not reset back to the past. There are millions of jobs which are going to be created by AI and automation for the future, but there are going to be jobs of the past which will be taken away. And when we do so, this is our opportunity to bridge the divide by moving our hiring policies from degrees to skills, and uplifting from industries which have got decimated. So one of the things we are very excited about is our new initiative about Reskill and Restart. Reskill and Restart is an initiative Infosys is bringing to Rhode Island, along with the jobs we have committed, is a consortium of reskilling partners. And we think a consortium of reskilling partners is needed to fix this radical reskilling problem we would have, because industries are going to be decimated, work streams are going to be decimated. And if you want to bridge the divide, you need to go through a value chain of reskilling to fix the gap, starting from evaluation of skills to evaluating pathways, identifying the right pathways, identifying online training, hand-holding and apprenticeship, and then a marketplace to match job seekers and employers. That whole value chain, we are actually orchestrating it on behalf of Infosys, and we're going to bring it to the state of Rhode Island. And hopefully, not only are we going to consume it, employers who have committed to jobs in this wonderful group, hopefully could leverage that consortium. And I think that's the only way you can actually drive skills of the future, bridge the divide, create inclusivity, because you need that hand-holding, you need that evaluation, you need those pathways if you really want to fix this gap of jobs. And that to me is what Infosys is very committed about, and Infosys is very keen that we bridge this skills gap by this consortium, which I believe is a very unique one. We are going to set it up for the state of Rhode Island. We're going to hire from schools and colleges, from community schools, from people who don't have a degree. You know, the kind of jobs which are lost today are from hospitality, hotels, airlines, and the kind of jobs which are available are in very different industries and very different work streams. And I think this consortium is a phenomenal opportunity to bridge that divide. So thank you, Governor, for this extraordinary leadership. I thank on behalf of all my employees at Infosys and the citizens of Rhode Island for your leadership in combating this virus, as well as this wonderful initiative, which can be a template which can be replicated on a national scale.
Thank you, Ravi, and thank you to Salil. Infosys is also committed to begin with 250 hires through the Back to Work initiative. So thank you. And thank you for being such a fantastic partner in everything in COVID. You've been incredible. Last, but certainly not least, I would like to introduce Dr. Tim Babineau. We talk a lot about, who's been in the trenches. Dr. Babineau runs Lifespan, which is the largest healthcare system in Rhode Island. He and I have had hundreds of phone calls, and he's been in the thick of it, managing, getting ready for surge, managing his ER, managing ventilators, and done a beautiful job. He also, in the midst of all of this, has agreed to partner here to hire folks coming out of this initiative. So thank you, Tim. Thank you for your partnership, and thank you for how amazing you've been for Rhode Island.
Well, Governor, thank you. Thank you for your partnership and your leadership. In my opinion, you did the best job of any governor in the country in terms of our response to COVID, and I could not have asked for a better partner. Mike, thanks for hosting this. Thanks to my colleagues. I know I'm last. I'll be mercifully brief, but just a couple of important comments. First and foremost, as we all know, there is a direct link between economic health and physical health and mental health. So it's a virtuous cycle. As we help people get back to work, we also help them get healthier. The second comment I would make is, although the COVID pandemic feels like a marathon, is a marathon, and I think will continue to be a marathon for the foreseeable future, this effort, and I know you would agree, Governor, needs to feel more like a sprint. We need to do this quickly. Time is not our friend. We have to get people back to work as quickly as possible, and we're committed to helping you do that. Right now, just to get a little specific at Lifespan, we have 500 job openings for hard to find folks. Certified nursing assistants, medical assistants, surgical technicians, and community health liaisons. These are 500 jobs that we don't need to create. They're 500 jobs that exist. They require a high school diploma and then some additional training. So the sooner we can get folks trained. We have a job waiting for them. And although they are entry-level jobs, they are not dead-end jobs. There is tremendous growth opportunity in these jobs and the career ladder at lifespan. I met with a nurse manager this morning, one of our senior most nursing executives who started here as a CNA 25 years ago. So it is entry level, but there is great growth opportunity. And these are jobs that are literally hands-on, that AI can't replace, that you can't ship overseas. They're jobs right here that are going to be here. And obviously, as the healthcare needs of the state grow, we're going to need more people. So we're thrilled with this effort. Someone else said it, this is going to benefit lifespan because we're looking for these people. And this partnership will help train them and get them here and get them good jobs. So again, Governor, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your partnership. And thanks to all my colleagues on the call for stepping up and helping. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. I will wrap up. I know we're a few minutes over and you've all been very gracious with your time. So I appreciate that so much. We're excited. We will make this work. This is easy to talk about and hard to do. But right now, there's 114,000 Rhode Islanders out of work. And so we have to do it for them. And there are millions of Americans out of work. And we have to do it for them. They're struggling. They're scared. They might not be able to check all the boxes with the 4-year degree and a perfect background and a perfect track record, but they all deserve a chance. So if you're a Rhode Islander and you're hearing this and you're out of work and you're afraid, back to work RI. We are going to stand this economy back up and we're going to get you a good job. And if you don't have the skills you need, we're going to help you with that. And we're going to support you the whole way through. And to you guys on this call, I don't know how you do what you do, but God bless you. And I'm so excited to work with you all to make this a success. So let's get to work. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Governor.
Thanks, everybody.